Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back to the Dear Video Game Podcast, where we're on a quest to bring you fun, inspiring, insightful perspectives on the game industry, its games, and personalities. My name is Mav, and I'm a longtime Twitch streamer, newly returned Xbox host, and just a Disney Dreamlight addict with my lovely co-host, Snackless.
Hi, I'm Snackless. I am a longtime partner streamer on Twitch as well, a retired kindergarten teacher, and lately lover of baking. I've been really on a baking spree as of late, and we're so excited to have you here on Dear Video Games. We're recording offline today, so if you're listening in, thank you so much for taking a moment to tune in, and hopefully it is a welcome to your weekend. Sometimes we record live on Twitch on Thursday, so you can kind of keep an eye out for that, but other than that, our show goes live Friday mornings at 5 a.m. Pacific, so it's like the perfect time to kind of tune in and get ready to relax. So we're so happy that you're here and so excited to talk about all things fall fun and falling apart on Twitch. You know, it goes really well with our theme. And I have a great info thing for you today on fall. So this month our theme is falling for fall, and let me just tell you a little bit about Greek mythology, which I actually took in university.
I
In
love
Greek
Greek
mythology,
mythology.
it's so everything's a story.
Yeah.
Like the creation of Earth is a story, and I loved listening to it because it was so interesting. So the story about autumn or fall goes like this. In Greek mythology, autumn began when Persephone was abducted by Hades to be the queen of the underworld. In distress, Persephone's mother, Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, caused all the crops on earth to die until her daughter was allowed to return, which made spring. So, if the crops around you are dying, you can take enjoyment in the harvest time,
Oh my
according to Greek
gosh.
mythology. Hmm.
That's so
A bit
funny.
serious.
That
Yeah,
is,
so what
they
have you
do
been up to?
everything. Greek
Mm.
mythology is so interesting because it just does kind of dive into like almost conspiracy theories. You're like, maybe, like I
Everything
would
has a
not believe
reason.
it.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense. They have a story for everything that, like, when you're hearing this story, you're like, wow, that makes so much sense. And then later you like think about it and you're like, wait a second. But they do have a great story to explain most things. So can kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
What have you been up to? What have you been doing, playing?
So my phone is literally blowing up. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
But it looks like nothing emergency. So that's how my week has been.
What a bit wild.
It has been really wild behind the scenes. I'm really glad that I don't have to stream full time and every single
Mm-hmm.
day because I wouldn't know what to do. Um, but before this week, this last weekend, we went apple picking, which was
Aw.
I wish you were here. I was like, oh my gosh, we could
The
have gone.
apples.
And I don't think the Cosmic would have been ripe enough while you were here,
Mm-hmm.
but the Honeycrisp were. So,
Oh,
um,
amazing.
yeah, it was really cute. There's a lot of farms out here that do a lot of different type of apples and like different crops, and they kind of try to make a
Mm-hmm.
party out of it all. And there's a just a bunch of them. So I think they're all just like friends with each other because there's like
Aw.
Blueberry Mountain View Farm. And then there's
Right.
like Bob's Farm, which is very notorious for having like the biggest pumpkin patch.
Aw.
And so that
That
was really
sounds so
fun.
fun.
Yeah, to kind of take the kids. I had no idea when you're
Ooh.
apple picking, you want to make sure when you hold the apple, you flip it upside down and you
Mm-hmm.
don't just pull the apple because you'll hurt the tree. I had
Mm-hmm.
no
And then the other
idea.
apples can come like kind of flying off with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep those trees happy. So what did you do with all of the apples that you picked?
So we grabbed a bunch of we got honey crisps that were already picked. So they had some that were
Mm-hmm.
already ready. So we grabbed a few of those. We
Mm-hmm.
picked cosmic crisps. So
Yeah.
those seem to be only native. I had no idea. They're only native to Washington. That's where like
Do
they are
you
created.
do you know the story about the Cosmic Crisp?
I do now, but I had
Yeah.
no idea that it was like a 20-year project.
Yes, to make the best apples. So they took like the best 10 or whatever characteristics of apples, and then they bred them over 20 years or crossbred them, I guess, until they came up with what they deem as the perfect apple. So if you're ever looking to try it, it's called a Cosmic crisp, and they do ship them kind of around, so you can even get them in Canada where I live.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wild.
I knew that Washington was known for apples. I didn't realize it was like for
Hmm.
the Cosmic Crisp, which is really good. It
Hmm.
is probably too crunchy for me. Like
Oh, really? I
they
love a good
I love
crispy.
crunch and I'm not a fan of soft apples, but the crunch is
Right.
loud. So if you're looking
Yeah.
for an audibly loud, crunchy apple,
ASMR apple.
just get the Cosmic Crisp because it's so
Yeah.
loud. It was like I tried to eat slower because I was like, oh my God, the sensory from this apple. What is happening?
Amazing. Oh God, that's great.
I wonder if
Yeah.
they'll let me bring apples on the plane. I'm sure.
You can because you have a domestic flight.
Yeah. Maybe I'll bring
So,
some
and
apples.
actually, apples are technically allowed, but they'll be a little stinky. But fun fact, citrus is absolutely not allowed to cross the border. And
I
they
didn't
will
know
like rip
that.
that right out of your paws. Yeah, because we have different like citrus diseases and stuff. And
Oh,
yeah, many years ago, like there was citrus disease brought into like Florida and it like devastated all of their like orange trees and stuff. So they're kind of crazy about it. So for good reason.
yeah. So we did
Hmm.
that, which was really fun. Took some pictures. And then
Yeah.
this week's just been my first week at Xbox, just kind of like getting into the groove of working again. Not just working,
Right.
but like setting up the email, setting up the
Mm-hmm.
programs, like getting
Your
used
schedule.
to streaming on the channel
Yeah.
again and the meetings and everything. And then TwitchCon
Mm-hmm.
is coming. So they're planning a bunch of stuff for TwitchCon, which we're doing
Yeah.
now. So it's been a little
Mm-hmm.
bit crazy, but I've only been playing Dreamlight Valley. So that's
It's so fun. It's the best.
I just start playing it
What kind of?
and then
It's
it's
the
like hours
best.
later.
Yes,
But
literally. Yeah.
yeah, that's what you
I
been up
went
to.
to I went to Aqua Size last night and out for dinner for
Did
my
you get
girlfriend's
beat up at Aqua
birthday.
Size?
No, not this time. Actually, the instructor didn't even show up, so I just led our own little thing, which was okay. It was kind of fun, and it was a little more leisurely. And then we went out for dinner, and then we got bingsu for dessert. We got
Oh,
coffee
yum.
bingsu. Oh my god, it is so good. If you don't know what bingsu is, it's a Korean shaved ice dessert, but they mix the shaved ice with sweetened condensed milk, like tiny little flecks of it. So I can't really have ice cream, but I can have this, and it is incredible. And then at this particular location, they actually fill the bottom of the bowl with cornflakes.
Oh,
So it's like kind of a
it's like
crunchy
fried,
sort of thing at
almost
the end.
fried.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yum.
It is absolutely incredible. So that was great. And we were talking about Disney Dreamlight too because they're obsessed. They love it. And I saw this really funny TikTok I sent to them this morning where it was like, the voiceover where it's like, you apply to the Fence of the Dark Arts first. And you're like, yes. And they're like, so you paid $100 for a game that's going to come out free. And you're like, because she was like, I bought the expensive version with like all of the like extra bells and whistles, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yes. And they're like, but it's buggy and laggy and it's going to be free later. And you're like,
uh,
obviously, I'm playing it this way. Like,
I feel
it's
like
so buggy.
it's really hard to not beta test a game, because that's just like the
Hmm.
state of gaming right now is like
It's weird.
games that like are they worth playing? Like let us
Hmm.
know and then we'll keep making it. But it really
Yeah.
is a business. Like it does take and we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about things that came up in the game industry later, but like it
Hmm.
is a business and people
Hmm.
are not doing okay with it. So
Yeah. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about Disney Dreamlight, and then it's been really warm here, like uncharacteristically warm. So I've been walking a lot, actually with my dad in the river valley, and like a walk with my dad is like a 2 hour thing. Okay, like it's 16,000 steps. Like I was like, oh, he's like, do you want to go for a walk? And I was like, okay. And then we were gone, and it was dark finally, and then we
oh
came
my
home. It was
God.
wild. So yeah, really getting my steps in lately, and that's been like really fun and like always good to get a little exercise. So yeah, it's been a
Wow.
little wild. And I've been baking a lot. So, jumping ahead to our kind of snack time corner, I have been baking a lot. Last week, at the end of the week, I baked pumpkin muffins and cornbread muffins, and that was a big hit, and they were delicious. I was eating them for breakfast. And then I'll be baking a lot for Thanksgiving coming up next week with my family.
It's so strange how Canada has their Thanksgiving so early, but then it makes sense
Hmm.
because you kind of start the season, right? Because like
Right.
ours
It's
are so
colder
flipped.
here. Right, it's colder here, so well, depending on where you live, right?
Yeah.
Faster, so we need to like have Thanksgiving kind of earlier. And then like this is really weird for me because like I'm not a Gatorade or like a Powerade person and I've never been, but I on those big long walks we like stopped at the dollar store and I got this like this is not sponsored, but I got this Gatorade Zero drink because I was like, oh, I don't want like random extra calories. And like first of all, I'm not one for like artificial sweeteners or anything or even Gatorade, but like it's delicious.
The blue
Like just
Gatorade is probably the best Gatorade, like top tier Gatorade. Like
it's so good. I haven't had Gatorade in like years.
for
I was
some
shocked.
reason, it's just the light blue one. Like it
I
could
don't
be
know.
any version of it and it's the light blue. I'm not sure if it's like a berry thing or like what. It's
It's
just
so
like
good though.
it's like tart enough and sweet, but like
Mm-hmm.
not too sweet and not sour. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it does. Well, now that I've had it,
It's
yeah.
the cosmic
So,
Gatorade.
that's what I've been having. What about you? What have you been snacking on?
Oh my gosh, I literally already talked about the apples because we've
Mm-hmm.
been eating a lot of apples.
Well, now you have to eat them all.
But then we went out to pizza. So we went to
Yeah.
pizza and went out to dinner. We've only gone to like 3 restaurants. We try to make it a big deal because little
Mm.
mister hasn't really gone anywhere because of the
Right.
pandemic and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so we always try to hype it up so that way he's like on his best behavior, but not like,
Right. And it's
so we're like, oh my
special.
gosh, we're going to a restaurant. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
so he loved that. The Bigs loved it. It was like a fire brick oven place. So it was
Ooh.
so tasty. Like
Yum.
French bread, pizza
Ooh.
with like ricotta and
Mm.
like doppels of sauce. I love extra sauce on my
Wow.
pizza. So,
Really? I'm the complete opposite.
oh my gosh, I need
Actually,
extra sauce.
to clarify, I don't really like pizza sauce. So if there's a different base, like
Oh,
I'm
it's
here
like a
for
white
it.
pizza or
But
something.
yeah, but like pizza sauce itself, I'm like, meh, I could literally eat it without any
And I'm
sauce
like, I would
if it
like
was
sauce
pizza
on the
sauce.
side for my sauce. Thank
No,
you.
absolutely not.
Just pour the tomato sauce all over me.
Put it on your side and then I'll eat it sauceless. Sauceless.
Snacks likes bread and cheese.
I do like bread and cheese. Should I eat bread and cheese?
No.
No. Do I? Yes. My
Will we?
doctor,
Probably.
literally, he's like, just stop eating cheese. I'm allergic to milk. I was like, do you understand what you're asking of me? Like, how could you ask that of me? And I'm like,
Yeah, like just don't. So make sure you don't eat cheese or dairy. And I'm like, I don't want to hate myself. So I'm going to say
yeah.
no.
I'm like, I like dessert. Don't you like dessert? It's because you can eat, when you can have milk, you take it for granted. I'm sorry. I'm telling
That's
you.
true. That's true.
Telling you. Okay, there's lots going on.
Yeah.
Let's break it down on the need to know basis. We'll give you the essentials and the ew to the oohs of this week because it's interesting. It's interesting. The whisper of the week is that Netflix is building its own internal game studio. Interesting.
Oh.
Wonder what will like come of that.
I mean, we just recently watched the resurgence of Cyberpunk, and
Mm,
that game was a hot mess when it came out, and I've just been
yeah.
waiting because I want to play it so much. I love the cyberpunk themed anything
Hmm.
and like post-apocalyptic, which is weird because now that really stresses me out because of the pandemic, but that's different.
Right.
Um and so the new Netflix show for it was done super duper well. And
Hmm.
then it actually helped bolster sales for the game.
Right.
Like it passed Witcher's concurrent player base.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're talking like a million players right now playing Cyberpunk when there wasn't anyone playing it because it
There
was
wasn't
just,
anyone. I remember it coming out and everyone was like, it's awful. And we were like, ooh.
yeah. So they've done a lot of really great updates. They've,
Hmm. It makes
the
sense
quality of
that
life is so much
yeah,
better.
that Netflix would want to capitalize on that. Even like for things like The Witcher, I've never played it, but I watched the show
Oh my
on Netflix.
gosh.
And so now I'm like kind of
So
interested in
good.
the game.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. So I'm not surprised that they were like, oh, there's a big connection here. There's money to be made. So interested to kind of watch that grow and
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Yes.
What you need to know is that E3 is coming back next year, 2023, June 13th to 16th, and they said they're going to have like industry days and public days again. So I'll be interested to see what that looks like. I'm always interested to see how they're going to set things up and how smooth it's going to look, and also interested to see if Mav and I will be there, bells on, doing fun
I
stuff.
I really like E3. I like
Yes, you've said
E3,
that.
but the cool thing is that there's going to be business days. So like
Yes.
you have my attention.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot because trying to jam them into both is like insane. Like Gamescom was really awesome too. I don't know if I don't remember if the days were split, but I know the sections were split. And I really enjoy that. It's kind of funny because Mav's done a lot of E3 and I've done Gamescom. And so like hopefully like next year maybe we'll get to do both, and then we'll
I
just
know.
each be guiding the other person like, oh, my
We're going to
dream.
Germany.
My dream. Make sure you 5-star the podcast, leave us a positive review, tell your
Yes.
friends, tell your family.
Tell
We
the
want to go do
moon.
fun things. Okay. You told me about a little tea time this
Yes.
morning.
This is a big
What's
stinky. This is an ew.
ew.
From ew to
Ew.
ooh. This is an ew.
Mm-hmm.
Google Stadia has shut down its services. So I don't know if that means that their technology will stop. But I know a lot of games use Google Stadia to develop their game. So really interesting to have
Mm-hmm.
read that. Not really a good thing, but hopefully they will keep the technology progressing, if that makes sense. Like maybe Google
Right.
Stadia, because it costs too much to run when not a lot of people use it.
Right.
But maybe they'll keep going, which I think they will. That's just how tech is. But I hope they don't just
Mm-hmm.
completely overwatch this and just cut it off.
Right. And I hope you enjoyed that chapter of your life because it's now closed and you're like, wait, wait.
And you're like a developer and you're like working on your game on Stadia, and then like out of
No,
nowhere, like it just
absolutely not.
stops and you're like,
No.
what?
Especially like little indie devs, like no. But there
Yeah.
was there was like an ooh there. So what was the good side of that?
The ooh is that they are
Mm-hmm.
refunding everyone for their hardware and their
Mm-hmm.
software purchases, which is like a that's a what? Is there like a
I'm
what?
I mean,
That's
I'm
a lot
kind
of
of
money.
surprised that I'm surprised they're doing that. Like I was like, good for
That's
you.
why I think they're
Are
gonna
you
just shut it
sure it was a
down
good
because
idea?
I don't know. That
Yeah.
makes me
I mean, I feel
sad.
you.
Google
Yeah.
Google's in trouble a little bit, I think, especially with like TikTok becoming new Google.
Literally, I
Um,
looked something up on TikTok the other day for the first time instead of Google
I'm telling
because
you,
I don't want an ad. Like
I
I
don't want
was
to
like,
add
yeah.
or like an old blog about something from 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Like I want to know
Yep.
Carol in Canada
Yep.
who's baking, and I want to know exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if that gives you any indication on the way the TikTok's going, if you are looking to grow in TikTok, definitely you're going to want to niche down because I'm looking
Hmm.
for experts in these weird fields.
Yep, absolutely. Definitely something to like keep an eye on. And the lull of this week is kind of silly but
What
cute.
is
Okay,
this?
so it was like this little clip from Jeopardy went viral because there was a someone participating in Jeopardy and their name was Luigi. And so the host was like, "Oh, did Luigi meet his nemesis? Waluigi?" And it was like really corny, but it was cute. Like if if you know
If you
Mario and
know,
you
you
know video
know.
games, yeah,
Uh,
like.
oh my
But
gosh.
the Luigi guy on the show was just like just stunned in the clip, and I was like, "Oh, does he get it, or he's heard it 100 times? I don't know."
He has to have heard it 100 times, right? Like if your name was
Mhm.
Mario or Luigi,
Mhm.
like had to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they were saying, like, when I was reading the article, they were like, they should really be, like, capitalizing on, like, Waluigi's popularity because I feel like they don't, and I was like, "That's an interesting statement." So, maybe this will put a little,
They're never
like,
nice to
on their
Waluigi.
radar.
That's why people fight for him, is
Yeah.
because he's such an underdog, and people are like, "Where's Waluigi?"
He sounds like he, like, had, like, swallowed a speaker, but he's underwater. Like, he sounds weird, right?
That's so funny.
Um,
Speaking of sounds like they swallowed a speaker and they're underwater, Twitch
well,
talk.
actually, underwater. Twitch, are you okay down there?
Just blink.
Hello? Do you need a life
Where do we even
raft?
start? Let's start with the ews because
There's
obviously
unlimited. They're unlimited to use.
we tried to not just go off on the ews, I think.
I picked three. I don't know. Okay, so here's the first one that I was like, can you get it together? Like earlier this week, Twitch was bombarded with bot accounts. Okay. And if you look at like the trend, you can look at the 5-year trend, the 1-year trend, you can look at the 7-day trend. Whatever trend you look at looks like this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
4 million bot accounts. So that's
Bots have always been an issue.
sucks.
Like you can look at any top streamer and they have bot
Mm-hmm.
accounts. Like, and it's not
Yep.
even them doing it per
No.
se. It's people doing it to their channel. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a program, I can't remember what it's called, but you can like go
Mm-hmm.
and like see how many actual viewers people have, and it's usually
Right.
half. So like half or less. And it's pretty insane to see not
Yeah.
many top streamers actually have the amount of viewers that they have. So if you
Yeah.
are
So
feeling self-conscious as like a medium-sized
mhm.
streamer, don't worry. They don't actually have that many people. It's just how it goes when they're trying to
Yeah.
dominate a directory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's definitely a lot of problems with bots. It's nothing really new. It's more about like the mass creation of them that kind of put everyone on the radar because it's like, why are there so many? Is there a purpose there? Should we be worried? Like you
Yeah.
never know like what someone's kind of like motive is. So that was kind of concerning. And I'm so over Twitch right now in this moment. I'm just so annoyed. Then they were like, "Hey, it's too expensive to like run Twitch in South Korea, so they're limiting them to 720p. And only in South Korea." Like, I don't know if the ship's actually going down or if they're just being like
If they're like
terrible people.
compare, well, it could be they're comparing cost, right? So like who actually
Right.
uses it in Korea and then South Korea and then who, like, do they actually
Oh, I
watch
see what you're
it?
saying.
Like,
Yeah,
is it
but
too
what
expensive to run? But it is
Mhm,
really a
essentially.
bummer. I mean, the stream world used to be 720p for a long
That's
time.
true. That's true.
And I'm not saying that's a good thing, but it is really
Mhm.
interesting. And having Twitch come out with all of this news and still have a TwitchCon to share news at, I hope
Mhm.
it's not just a recap of everything. I hope it's something
Oh, I
new.
would be so disappointed.
But they've never done this before in like the 8 years that I've been streaming. They've always kind of like had like a weird article about them or something, and they've
Right.
always had like some preview announcement, but they've always sort of waited for TwitchCon to share stuff. And
Yes.
so I'm hoping that they're waiting, but I don't know, Snacks. Like, even people that work at Twitch are really bummed out about all
I
of the
saw that.
announcements and like
Well,
really
they just like
like,
suck. Like it just feels like I'm disappointed that they did that to South Korea. I just feel like it's overall the word is like disappointing.
mhm.
And then on top of that, like yesterday, no one could like log into their Twitch account. And so they were having like a ton of problems with various browsers. And so after like sifting through the
Oh,
tweets,
yeah.
yeah, I finally came to the conclusion. So basically it was like Twitch never actually supported other browsers. So they basically only supported like Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and like one other, but other browsers would work with Twitch. So then basically there was like some kind of update, and then they only made it work for the 3 browsers they support. So then all the other browsers had to do things on like their end to make it work.
It was really
It's
interesting
like,
because I
I
think I can't remember if he was actually Twitch product manager guy
I
or
saw that.
outside of it, but he said, so this is basically because of ad block. So some
Yeah,
browsers make it that way that ad block works. And so they're
yeah,
like, we're not going to support that because we can't control the ad blocks
right.
happening there. So really interesting.
They're like, we need more money. We have to make sure people see the ads 6 times an hour.
And it even happens more than that. It's really so inconsistent, and it's really hard as a creator to make
Hmm.
content for a site that doesn't like support you and it tries to take
Yeah.
advantage of you. And so
Yep.
um, hopefully
100%.
hopefully they can see some sort of something from this. Obviously, they don't probably don't have any information yet on if it's actually the
Hmm.
cause of not getting the ad amount or the views, but like
Right.
no one's watching Twitch compared to other platforms. Like
Yeah.
it's not even comparable.
It's not going good, okay? And the only good thing happening is that they're like, "Oh, we have a chat activity panel for streamers." So basically, like if you have VODs enabled, you can go and see when the chat activity was the highest. So it should make it easier for clipping and like finding interesting moments. But then apparently that's not actually like a new thing. But if you didn't know about it, now you do. So there's a chat activity panel, and you can kind of check that out. It might help you narrow things down in your stream.
I'll try it. I listen. I'm
Yeah.
always like clip for me, clip for
Yeah.
me. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So it might make things easier. This is hilarious.
I don't
Did
know
you hear
anything
about
about.
this?
So I know a little bit about this, but like I don't really know about the actual outcome of
Okay.
it.
So I think I'm saying this right because just I'm Canadian, but there's a Republican congressman and his name's Matt Gaetz, and I don't think he's like the most popular person. It doesn't seem that way, at least from what I saw, because his initial tweet was like, "Hey, I'm coming to Twitch," and none of the comments were supportive. None of them. So then I don't know why you take that and be like, I am going to go live on Twitch. So if you're ever feeling unsure about yourself as a mid-sized creator, well, Matt Gaetz got only 6 views on Twitch, and the 6 people who were watching his stream were spamming the chat with Shrek memes and just trolling the heck out of him. So that made me feel a lot better about my stream.
I just think that like people are like, oh, it's so easy to be a streamer, and like
Literally.
anyone can cultivate a community. Like, my following will
Mm-hmm.
join, and it's like that's just not how it is. And I just
Mm-hmm.
you have to
Definitely
respect
not.
people's time, and you like if you're going to be
Yeah.
some ridiculous like politician, like don't you think they're
Mm-hmm.
better at like getting people to go to different websites and stuff?
Apparently not. If you're questioning I mean, that should
Like
make you question
AOC
your
had like
influence.
thousands of viewers. So
Yeah.
just for context.
Yeah.
Um,
So obviously that was very successful for him. Anyway, so that's it for your Twitch news. Hopefully that was enlightening.
Also just keep an eye online. We'll probably share Twitch news as we go, and
Mm-hmm.
there will probably be a ton of Twitch stuff. It'll be buzzing. We'll be
Right.
there, but I don't know. Everyone's gonna be using the internet, so like,
Right.
who knows if
Yeah.
we can,
You know,
you know.
we'll be
Speaking
on
of
site.
internet and Wi-Fi
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
technology,
Mm-hmm.
we have got new little mini tech talk. Tech
Ooh.
talk today.
Mm-hmm.
Say that 10 times fast.
Talk to me about tech.
Elgato came out with a new Wave uh, dynamic microphone, which is kind of like the
Mm-hmm.
one I'm using, which is an XLR dynamic microphone. I'm
Mm-hmm.
using the Shure 7 something B.
Yeah.
And so it's their new dynamic XLR
Mm-hmm.
microphone. It has a USB interface feature, and
It's supposed to be like all the rage because you don't need like an XLR. Like it's all kind of compact,
yeah,
which for
it's
someone like
like
me is like what I need.
yes. And it's going to be interesting because you can use the XLR port and then it goes to USB. So it looks really cute. It's very compact. I don't know how much
Yeah.
it is, but
I think it's $100, which is like
whoa.
extremely affordable. I
I would
don't
love to
quote me on that.
see I would love to see some like tests about it. So if anyone is using it, I saw
Yeah.
Avery got it and
Oh,
used it,
amazing.
but she was using it during streams, testing it,
Right.
and it was
Right.
in her camera frame, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to hide the mic." And so
That's
she
funny.
tweeted about that, which was pretty funny.
It's 129.99. Is that coming up as Canadian? I'm not sure which currency that's coming up as, but
Um, that's really that's really interesting because
hmm
usually Elgato really hikes up their prices. So I'm really
yeah.
interested to see some of more of this other stuff because,
hmm
like, well, how is the mic the same amount as a light? That's like
Yeah.
interesting to me. So
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they release something at a price and everyone buys it and then they lower it. I swear that's what happened with those pop-up green screens. Like I swear they were more expensive initially. feel like they were,
Hmm.
but regardless, it looks like a good product. So I'm kind of interested in that, and maybe it'll be something even I check out.
Mm.
But let's open up the pages in our game library, because today we're going to take you from spooky screamy to cozy creepy. So we're going to give you a variety of games in our deep dive today. Ones that made us scream our pants off, and ones that look really cozy. And I just want to tell you, I have outdone myself with the descriptions this time.
These are
I have
amazing.
I have reached a new level. If you need a game description, or let's just say you don't like what Steam wrote about your game, you can ask me to rewrite it. I'm here. I'm here to support you and your games.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh. Okay. I mean, I'll do Outlast, and then you can follow up with a game that you really like. But I played Outlast 1 and 2 and actually beat them. I sometimes think that that was like an alter ego of myself who was able to do that. But anyway, I've played those games. Developed by Red Barrels and published by Red Barrels and RH Badrow. Released September 4th, 2013, the first Outlast game. So Outlast is like a horror first-person survival game from hell. It's so, there's a lot of chasing in it, and it also has smart AI, and I hate smart AI because if you're someone who like wants to hide in the locker, even if you hide in like a different locker, they know that you
They
like
always
hiding
know.
in the locker, right?
And
Like
it's like
they,
it's in an insane asylum, so it's like a
yes.
psych ward. And so it's
It's
really, really creepy. There's a lot of things that are like very
dark.
unnerving.
Right. And you have this video camera that you use, and like sometimes it's your only source of light, and it's not even good. Okay, let me tell you about it.
And
So
you can run out of batteries. So if you want to use a harder level difficulty, enjoy darkness.
it's so let me tell you about it. Scream until you lose your voice as Miles, the investigative journalist in a remote psychiatric hospital. Discover the secrets hidden in science and bound by religion as you try to stay alive. Mm-hmm.
Scary, spooky. I've played so many
Mm-hmm.
hours of these. I actually had my
Mm-hmm.
friend play it for me too. My friend
That's
Pink
amazing.
Latex back in
Oh
the
my
day.
gosh.
She played it for me because I couldn't finish it. And there's a scene in that first, I think it's the first Outlast, where something happens to your
Mm-hmm.
hands, and I thought I was going to leave my body. I don't know if I, we
It's
were
so
like, what?
spooky. It's so spooky. If you haven't played Outlast and you'd like to, it's available on Xbox, PlayStation, Mac, and Switch. So lots of things there.
Will you
And
try it? Not again.
literally, and on this section, we always have a like, if you'll try, and I wrote, not again. One time of losing my soul out of
Speaking
my body
of
was
a game
enough.
that's next, might never ever return to, Phasmophobia, developed by Kinetic Games, published by Kinetic Games, released in 2020. So this game kind of carried and saved the pandemic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
September 18th, 2020. So it's about 2 years old. And
Mm-hmm.
it's an investigative co-op horror game. So you basically ghost hunt, and you have all these other tools and
Ugh.
items to use to decipher what kind of spirit, ghost, creature,
Right.
thing that it
Right.
is. And so there's like salts and sounds and temperature gauges and
Candles.
candles, and like sometimes you have to be alone to call out to it, and sometimes you don't. And
Oh yeah, you can talk to
they have a
it. Ouija
name you have to
board.
talk to it, and like
No,
it can get really intense when there's not a lot of
no,
people in the group.
don't like.
Um, and basically, I love the description. Traumatize yourself with this paranormal psychological horror. Investigate a variety of haunted homes and lurking locations together. Use your ghost hunting equipment to uncover evidence, and then run for your life back to your van to victory.
I nailed that description. I nailed it.
You did. That was so good.
Literally run for your life back to the van. That's what I do 70% of the time in the game. I'm running back to the, where are you? I'm heading back to the van.
I love this.
I want to leave.
I love these notes.
I want to go
Opinion
home.
first, looks scary. No more, please. And then if you'll try it, no, thank you. Oh my gosh.
I've had enough.
Oh,
You know,
speaking of have enough,
yeah, literally.
why don't
When
you
I was
explain this game? Because
when I I was just recently in Seattle with Mav, and she made me play a spooky game like to start the spooky month, even though it was September. You know how she is. Okay, so the game she chose was Until Dawn, which I've never played, which isn't actually like it's more like
It's like a
suspenseful.
drama. It's like a story
Right.
drama game.
Yeah, it's developed by Supermassive Games and it came out in 2015, but Mav was saying that there's like been some kind of updates like along the way. And so I've never played it. It's an interactive horror game. So essentially it's like choose your own adventure in a way, right? So you um something happens and then you make a decision. And so you can keep characters alive that way or kill them off that way. And sometimes you don't know what decision you make. They have this thing called the butterfly effect. So if you make a decision earlier, it's going to affect things like way later down the line. And I didn't like it. So here's what I wrote about it. 8 friends are trapped on a mountain retreat where they try to survive the night. Play as each character and choose if they will be friends, foes, or even alive by morning. Fight through their fear and yours as you button mash your way to safety. So like you'll be running from something and you have to push the buttons, and if you push the wrong button, they die. And so after I played this game, we invited our friend Kellosaurus over, we invited Kelly over, and Kelly is an Xbox player and primarily, and she didn't know any of the games on PlayStation, and she like the character was running for their life and she pushed all the buttons wrong and they had like broken arms and legs and then someone died. So if that's your thing, you might like that. So you can play that on PlayStation 4. And will I play the game? Probably not. Oh, but although when I do
Kelly to come over to finish it, and she's like,
that's
no.
a great idea. That's an excellent
like,
idea.
not.
Just trap her in the office, and then it's a very good idea. It's funny too because you can make the people be friends or foes, and I'm not really like one to like disturb the peace, but for some like weird reason I disturbed all the peace.
Oh
I
my gosh.
I made them like hate each other, and
she
everyone
made them
was
hate each
dying
other and just so much drama.
and,
Oh
you
my
know.
Okay, Snax's first opinion, and look, no context, just no. And will she try it? No.
But maybe you've tried it. Maybe you like it. I don't know.
They have a lot of different games that have use that technology. The Quarry is the most recent one, which is kind of like a camp spooky. They have a Halloween theme going on right now with it. So
cool.
Yeah, make sure to check it out if you're looking for a fun, interactive kind of story game. It's really fun to stream.
To let chat kind of like watch, and it is suspenseful. There's like a few jumps, but it's nothing like Outlast. So if you kind of need something that's a little spooky,
tried and true.
Yeah. So that wraps up our top spooky screamy, but we also have some cozy creepy games that we thought we share.
These are quite something.
Okay, this game I actually think I might get. I'm like really thinking about it. It's called The Longing, and I heard about this quite some time ago and forgot about it. It was developed by Studios.
I think it's German. I think it's Seifz and then Heidelberg.
Seufz, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Application Systems Heidelberg. And it came out in 2019, but it is a point-and-click adventure idle game. I've never played an idle game, and when I read the reviews for this game, they were really interesting. A lot of people said they didn't know what it was like to truly try to be patient, and that it was like a lesson in that. It's really, really interesting. So in this game, you play as a solitary shade, the last servant to a slumbering king. The king will awaken in 400 days when he regains his power. You must stand guard under the soil in the earthen palace until he awakens. So essentially, you are playing as a shade, and in 400 real-time days, whether you're in the game or not, the time keeps kind of clicking, the king will awaken. And during that time, you can either open the game and close it for 400 days, or you can explore the caverns and the caves. And if you keep exploring, there's a bunch of adventure and mystery and really neat things to uncover. And the people who review this game say that it's extremely unique and that it actually raises the standard and the bar to games because no one had created something that was like this. So it looks like really interesting, and it has very high reviews, and I'm really intrigued. Like I think I might check it out.
You should check it out.
You can play it on PC, Mac, and Switch. So for the if you'll try, I think I might. Like I've never
Even
played an
if we
idle
started
game.
it and then
Your
like,
favorite activity.
right? And then just waited over a year to go back to
Yeah.
it. Like
I'm just
that's pretty
curious.
on brand.
But I would make sure I set like 15 different alarms on like
I know.
everything. Because what if you miss it? Like, can you imagine?
Oh my God.
I would be so disappointed. But yeah, if you played that game, like let me know. I'm definitely I'm really intrigued and very, very high reviews. So looks cool to me.
Okay, we've got
Not
Night in
too
the
creepy.
Woods next
Mm-hmm.
up, developed by Infinite
Yes.
Fall and Secret Lab, released
Mm-hmm.
January 10th, 2017. A single player adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
You return home to an old mining town and your friend is missing. The mines hide secrets and something is hiding in the woods.
Hmm.
Very, very high reviews.
Yeah.
And they got an award for best indie game. So that's
Yeah.
really cool.
And the graphics are cute. So like there's creepy stuff going on, but it like looks really, really cute. Almost like a children's storybook.
Mm-hmm.
I would describe like the picturesque nature of it. Um, Looks really cute. Like I'm not sure if I have time to pick up another game, but it's definitely on my radar, and I feel like it's really perfect for this month. Like if you need something to play.
Something a little bit spooky, something not too
Yeah.
scary, but something that, um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Like fits in the middle, especially because it's on the Switch. So we love like a like creepy cozy game. Creepy cozy games on the Switch. It's like the perfect vibe.
Oh my God. It's the
Perfect for fall.
best. Literally the
Hmm.
best.
Yeah, and you can also play it on PlayStation and Xbox. So really anywhere that you'd like.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Another creepy
Hmm.
cozy game is Death's Door,
Hmm.
developed by Acid Nerve, published by Devolver Digital, which we love Devolver
Hmm.
Digital. They publish some really amazing games and staples to
Yeah.
the years.
Yeah.
Came out July 20th, 2021. It's an action adventure game, which actually Mr. Math played this game.
Hmm.
Your life is as a crow is thrown up into the air when you solve soul is stolen. You must challenge the thief in the deathless realm where the creatures live long past their lives and are filled with greed and power. So you do play as a little bird, and it's kind
Cute.
of like Dark Souls-ish.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, like there's like
Oh,
little
interesting.
monsters you battle and you have like your little
Right.
sword and the
Hmm.
colors are right. Am I saying this right? Death
It's
Store.
like kind of cartoony
Oh, yeah.
a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah,
It's cartoony for sure.
a little bit. Yeah.
Um, but you are a little bird and you kind of run around this platform, almost like
Hmm.
a platformer, like a top-down platformer game
Yeah.
where you go fight bosses.
Um, it also has very good reviews. So I'm once again I am intrigued. Looks
I think you'd
interesting.
actually like it. It's really cute.
A little more on the dark and creepy side,
Mm.
like compared to the Night in the Woods. So you get the kind of like cute but creepy storybook, and then you get a little bit dark and spooky Death's Door. You know,
Death's Door.
a variety. Let's wrap it up in terms of speaking about our games in our game library by telling you Mav and Snack's top favorite horror games. So here is our 9 top horror games, just kind of that we've experienced that we really enjoyed for various reasons. So
Mm.
starting off with Little Nightmares 1, loved it. It was creepy, a bit of urgency in that game, which I liked. I really enjoyed it.
Little Nightmares 2, I really enjoyed. You get to go
Oh.
into like a schoolyard and you're like a little, obviously you're like the little person and you're running
Mm-hmm.
around and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a continuation of what you were dealing with, but now you're outside. So it's a little
Right.
creepy.
And you have a little friend.
It's so creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what other game it's like. It's like Inside. Is the game Inside?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Inside game. Inside. Oh yeah, Inside is very similar to
Oh, I've never heard of that.
um Little Nightmares, where you're
Oh.
like one little kid character and you're kind of going through
Oh, it
zones and
looks very similar.
yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Inside's really good. Just can get really spooky.
I think I've had enough of those types of games for my life.
Oh, but I've
Um,
got one for you. One of my favorite all-time games is called Cat
what?
Lady,
What is
and
that?
it is a side scroller
Mm-hmm. Oh,
psychological thriller where It's really creepy and really ridiculous, but it's nice and dramatic. And you kind of have to scroll around and explore these different
It looks
areas.
so creepy. Are you out of your mind? Oh my gosh. I'm not. No.
I don't think you would like this one though, Snacks. It's a little too like
No. No.
mental. It's a mental for sure. Really good. They did a really good job. There's different versions of it, and I hope they come out with something again, but it was very good.
Holy.
Um,
She's a 40-year-old lady on the verge of suicide with no family, no friends, and no hope.
it gets
Great.
really there's a
Good.
lot, and there's not a lot of dialogue though, so it's like one of those like
Mm-hmm.
really cool side scroller games. You guys should
Right.
definitely
Like
try.
a unique way to present something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't have to give this an introduction, but literally any Resident Evil game, it's my
Mhm.
favorite. They're so scary. Resident Evil 7, much scarier than 8, but 8 I thought was done the best. Um,
Right.
they just touch on all the different versions of horror. They have
Mm-hmm.
the dollhouse, then you have
Very high
like,
reviews.
yeah, very, very good game.
Yeah.
So 7, 8, and then the new one that's going to be coming out, 9, are part of a
Mm-hmm.
trilogy storyline with Ethan.
Oh.
And so there's a lot of really cool ways that they are connected. So if you're interested in kind of more of a story driven level, like really well done level design,
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil games are notorious for that. And so
Right.
the newest ones obviously are the best. So
Cool.
check it out.
Creepy. I was a big fan of Hello Neighbor. When I very first played that years ago, I like and hate to be chased. So it's like
Come
I
here,
can't
Snacks.
decide if I like it or it's terrifying, but there's a lot of chasing in Hello Neighbor and I really liked that. Also, Hello Neighbor 2, I just got a
Coming.
key for that, but I'm not sure if it's like in beta or early access. But I do know Hello Neighbor 2 is coming out, so
It's coming. It
it's
just says
exciting.
2022.
Okay.
Pre-purchase it. There's no date yet. There's just
No confirmed.
announcements.
Okay.
So it could be
Bit of early
holiday.
access.
Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be holiday times. We will
Cool.
for sure be playing it. So
I kind of want to. I like it. I
I
mean,
am
I like.
making you and Kelly join.
Oy. Yeah, but it's a good game. I really enjoyed it, and it's once again that kind of like colorful, cute, cartoony, like almost
It's
like
a co-op game,
Pixar-ish,
and so you have one
and then
person who
scary.
is your creepy adult neighbor, and then you have like 5
Mm-hmm.
kids who are on a team. They all kind of have different abilities, and so you're trying to find the keys to unlock the door, which has like
Right.
6 keyholes on it. So
Right.
you're in
And
like
so you
this
have to
creepy
just keep.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
With
wonder
like
what the
so
second
many
one will be.
floors. Like, how
Yeah.
does the house have so many floors?
Floors and
It's a
doors.
maze. It's so weird. Like the house looks normal, and then you go inside, and it's like huge.
But then as the neighbor, you can, and depending on which neighbor you are, because they obviously are like kind of like Dead by Daylight with the classes, like you can change,
Mm-hmm.
you can shape shift into the objects, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really creepy.
Yeah,
Um,
but still a good game.
yeah,
What else is on our radar? Oh, Phasmophobia. I know you really like that game. I mean, I like the idea of it. Like, I like the
I
problem
can't play
solvingness.
it by myself.
Oh, there's no way.
No,
Absolutely not.
there's no way. I tried playing with Syrup, and I just kept killing her, so I just was like, I
Mm.
don't know about this.
It's scary. Like we played one time and Mav was yelling at me to let her out of the door, but I didn't shut the door. So like the ghost locked her inside of the house and then I was outside of the house and she was like screaming at me. And then when they die, you can't talk anymore. So you use like in-game talking, like a walkie-talkie. And I felt really bad. And it wasn't my fault that she died. And then you know what I did? I'll tell you what I did. I got in the van and I drove away. I wasn't going back
She
in
left my
there.
body.
She died in there.
She died.
I'm not going
Long
in there.
live, long may she live.
You know? Yeah. So you know. What else? What is on your spooky list?
Okay. So we've got The Walking Dead, which is the Telltale game
Mm,
series, which is very similar to Until Dawn. So it's
right, same
a
idea.
very story-driven game. Not so much choices, but action buttons that you have to do, or something happens.
Okay.
I think people will die and like all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And it's cartoon based. So if you haven't played The Walking Dead, the Telltale
Mm.
series, there's many of them. There's like 4. They're
Right.
very good. You will bawl your eyes out. Um, you basically
Okay.
join this little girl and this guy on a journey through like a post-apocalyptic zombie takeover, which is The Walking Dead. But it's a really endearing way to do it, and the characters that they introduce in it are done really well. And Telltale has just always been really great at doing story games like that. So,
Yeah. Seems that way.
and next up is Layers of Fear. Holy haunted house vibes. Talk about jump scares. Talk about like I beat Layers of Fear 1, but it was like doors and everything was jumping out to get you, and there's a chase and like all sorts of stuff. Layers of Fear 2, the devs were like, we don't want you to be able to finish this game because it's so scary. Well, they won. I could not finish this game. It was too scary.
What in
I could
Oh
not finish
no.
it. There's too much
No.
going on.
No
You're on a
thanks.
boat like the Titanic, and it's oh, I could not finish
No.
it. I was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Wow. That's
So
actually impressive because like Outlast was so scary, but somehow I finished
Layers of
that.
Fear 2, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. But
Wow.
to be fair, I didn't play Outlast. I had my friend playing it for
Mm,
me. So
right.
you were
Fair.
better
They're
than
both
me.
very spooky. I had a little bit of help from some friends, but I played that mostly by myself.
But Left 4 Dead 2 also is a really great staple for spooky games. So if you're looking for a co-op fun
Hmm.
game that is a little bit spooky, a little bit vibey, a little throwback,
Yeah.
Back for Blood. They made Back for Blood, which is the newest version. Not quite as
Right.
scary, more tactical, but Left 4 Dead 2 is a classic for sure. So bring your friends.
Okay. So that wraps up your spooky, screamy, and cozy, creepy list. So I hope you found something on there that suits you in this spooky upcoming month. And in our switch it up nin section,
The nin
dear
section.
dear Nintendo, really the only thing of interest, if you were to ask me, is the new Pokemon called Wiglet, not to be confused with Diglett. They're not the same. It's not
Is
like
it a
what they
peg?
went. You know how they did what? No,
Oh, I'm
no.
Googling
It's
it.
like a.
Like,
It's like a. It's like a worm.
ew.
It's a ground Pokemon and it can lengthen its body.
Ew.
You know what? I can't believe that they would do Wooper so dirty and
Look
make
at
him
this worm.
so stinky. And then instead of being like, oh, the Diglett's ugly, they're like, no, it's a totally separate one, you know? Like, how dare
It
you do
looks
that
like
to
a
my
Diglett, but
Wooper?
it's really long.
Correct.
Ew.
Groundworm.
With the big red nose.
Groundworm. So I think it's kind of fun that they're like releasing some Pokemon ahead of schedule and just giving us a sneak peek. It's always fun. It gets people talking, you know, it gets people interested. Like showing us that Wooper, disgusting, you know?
The
People, I
duper.
was,
The doo-dooper.
don't you say
What do they call it? Woo doo-doo?
No, they call it pooper.
Oh,
Why do you make me
pooper.
say it? Why do you do this to Wooper?
Pooper. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
Pokemon's gonna be around forever, so I'm really excited to see all the new ones that they come up with and come out with, and then see if
Yeah.
people if they shift from their favorites or whatnot.
Shift from their favorites.
I mean,
Absolutely not. What's your favorite Pokemon?
I think I like the pooper.
What? You're joking. Let's get matching tattoos. I'll get the Wooper and you get the Pooper.
But what if I get the whooper and you get the pooper?
Absolutely
You'll
not.
never forget me. You just be mad at me. You just text me, be like, I saw you today on my wrist, and I can't believe we got
Oh,
these.
stinky. Oh my gosh, stinky. I saw this cute little meme of the Wooper. I think I sent it to you, right? And it was Wooper, and then he was like, oh no. And then he fell in the mud and was like, oh, it's stinky. And then turned into the brown pooper one. How dare they do that to him?
How
How
could
dare.
they?
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
So
so
cute.
what are you doing this next week?
I am actually celebrating Thanksgiving a week early because I'll be flying down to San Diego for TwitchCon with Mav and friends and all sorts of fun. So we're having Thanksgiving this weekend, and I'm baking pumpkin tarts and an apple pie. And I'm really excited to spend some time with my family and my grandma and like do some fun things and play some games. And I'm also playing lots of Ni no Kuni and Disney Dreamlight. So I'm kind of around doing those things. And I have lots of really fun fall shoots that I've kind of like started to take for Fan House. So if you want photos and fun and you want to catch up with me, that's the best place. And especially if you want to chat, I'm available there. So keep an eye out for all the fun stuff there. So what about you? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Oh, I have movie night on Sunday too.
Oh, what are you
Mhm.
watching? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think we might watch Adam's Family. We were talking about it because I
Ooh,
think there's a newer
spooky.
one and I haven't
Yeah,
seen. Yeah, but it seems like it's like the perfect time to kind of watch those spooky movies. So I'm not
totally.
100% sure, but spooky
Totally.
things on the
Speaking of
radar.
spooky movies, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a watch party tomorrow night at my house. I am having some
Mm-hmm.
friends over. Kelly's coming over. My friend Megan's coming over. And then we're
I'm not
just,
going to be there,
I
just
know,
so
we're
you
going to
know.
make popcorn bowls and have
No,
candy and treats and all sorts of fun stuff. And we're going to watch the new Hocus Pocus movie. So it's going to be
that's
really
so
fun.
fun. I have the best time.
Yeah.
I'm sad. FaceTime me.
I will. Okay, Snack's gonna sit here on the table.
Yeah.
Here's
This
your
is
bowl of
Snacks' chair.
popcorn.
Here's her socks. When I was at, oh my gosh, Mav keeps her house so cold. Okay, so cold. Like I know I'm from like the frozen north. I had to like wear her sock. Like she left a pair of socks on the chair for me, and every day when I would come over, I would like wear her socks, like almost like slippers. And then I was like, the next time I come here, I'm just gonna bring slippers. So if you're going to the watch party, put your slips on.
Put your slippers on.
Keep your toesies warm.
And yeah, we will be kind of gone all week. So keep your eyes out
Mm-hmm.
on socials. We'll be sharing stuff as we're
Yep.
doing things, and we're really going to try to record more and just not sit on social media. So if we don't post a ton, it's because we're doing a ton. So
That happened
um
our last visit. We just like were having so much fun together in the moment that we just weren't on our phones at all. And so this time I do hope we have a bit of a better balance. Not that I want to be on my phone, but I do hope that we can record some of our like more fun moments so that you can be a part of it too.
yeah.
So keep an eye out for that. Make sure
Yeah.
you're following on all our platforms. We'll put up things when we can, and we're so excited. Oh, so just so you know, I'm sure you figured this out, but there will be no new Dear Video Games episode next week as we will be away and flying through many appointments, schedules, and fun activities, but we will catch up with you the week after.
Yes, we'll do like a follow-up TwitchCon
Mm-hmm.
episode together. Kind of like the
Absolutely.
Seattle one, I think. We'll do
Yeah,
something like that.
a mini episode. Absolutely.
We'll do like a TwitchCon catch up, and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
just do like a a like a lighter game one, but probably we'll get
Yeah.
a lot of Twitch news that we want to talk about. So
Oh, God.
I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. Definitely.
Nervous.
Well, thank you so much for spending some of your day listening to us and hanging out with us. Links for all of those cozy, creepy, spooky, screamy games. Those are all going to be in the podcast and the YouTube info section. So if you're looking for more information on any of those or can't remember what we mentioned, you can definitely check them out there. Thank you so much for taking time to join us on our Dear Video Games podcast. And do make sure to follow and subscribe on all of our social media. We are everywhere and soon to be in more places. So we'll hopefully have updates on that for you next week. And if you did enjoy our show, please do hit kind of those like and subscribe buttons or leave us a rating or even some comments with feedback. We kind of love to hear from you and really, really appreciate your support.
Yay. See you guys after next week. Bye.
Yay! Bye!